Hey, this is Paul with Collector's Escape talking about dystopian books. But before we do that, I want to give a big shout out to Kenny RH in the YouTube book world. He's a collector and he handles a lot of different collections, but he has a great video on classic science fiction books. And what I always think is neat is that Kenny has read a ton of great science fiction. We're going to put the link below. We want to make sure that as we grow our family of subscribers that love collecting and love books, that we also reach out and help other YouTube channels that have book lovers grow their audience as well. So we're going to put that link there. And remember, if you subscribe to Collector's Escape, we'll subscribe right back to you to help grow your own audience. Now, when we talk about dystopian books, there's several different kinds, and this is sort of the educational portion of ways that dystopian books are looked at. There's the body of what's called Huxleyan dystopian books, and that's like A Brave New World, and they look at government control through medical means. And you've seen a lot of different movies where they control, how you live, when you die, but do it through a medical process. The other well-known one is Orwellian dystopian, and this usually circles around government surveillance and control through government watching everything that you do. There's been lots of books about that. And then others sort of fall into what we call general dystopian. And general dystopian books are basically the earth has fallen into ruin, and there may not always be a whole lot of backstory on why this takes place. We look at the Mad Max books and the Mad Max movies. They don't really talk about it very much. It's that the world went to pot, and now everybody fights over resources. And that certainly fits a lot of books. And in this case, the James Axler series of books are some really neat books. Now, James Axler as a title, author name is simply what they call a house title. Many authors have written under the pen name James Axler. There's been over 120 Deathlands books. We have about half of those in our collection, and we'll get them all. And starting out with Pilgrimage to Hell was the first one that came out in 1986. And what's neat about this, the storyline is very simple, and we call meat and potatoes dystopian. You have a specialist called Ryan Carter, and he has a little band, a group that all have special skills, and sometimes they interchange out. One will leave or be killed or something, and somebody else will fall in. But they have special skills, but Ryan Carter knows where all these hidden underground facilities are. They're called redoubts. And so he's able to get extra special resources to be able to withstand with his little group all kinds of different catastrophes, different challenges. What I also like about it, what I call it meat and potatoes kind of books, is that the James Axler stories, for the most part, one book is a complete story. So one book will take you through an adventure, it'll take you on a thrill ride, and it can stand alone. Now, there are occasions where the story will cross into the next book, but not very much. For the most part, it's like each book is a little episode of this story. And so you can pick up one of these books and you could read it, and it pretty much stands alone, which I think is neat because we're not always able to get every single book down the line. Now, Pilgrimage to Hell and the first 20 of the James Axlers I've read personally, and I got hooked on them. They're very well written, even though they have different authors. I found that the storyline, the differences, because each author has their own way of writing, they stick really close to the theme of the story and the plot, certainly, but the writing style was like they didn't want to break it out where you would pick up one of the Deathland books and say, I don't know where this came from. This is like way, way different than any of the other books. It breaks from that kind of theme. So you have interesting, unique stories, and we're going to show you all the covers that we have of the James Axler Deathland books, and would love your thoughts. If you've read James Axler, what you thought about the series, leave them in the comments below. And as always, we have our classic science fiction apparel. If you want to get t-shirts like this awesome one from the 1940s, hit our link below, and those make great gifts. They make great things to hand to people on holidays or non-holidays, and we have all that for you if you so desire. Thank you very much, and let's get to looking at these covers. Here's our cover series of the Deathlands. They are not in any particular order here. Though Pilgrimage to Hell was the first Deathlands that started the series in 1986. I picked up all of these books at used bookstores across southeast and central Kansas. And no doubt about it, we will collect all of the James Axler Deathlands series. And I would tell you there are other series as well, but for room and reasons of a space, we are only going to collect the Deathlands series. There's 120 books just to do that. But we've gone so deep and I've read so much that really want to continue and take it all the way. There you go. Awesome covers in the Deathlands series. I want to thank you all for viewing today. Give your thoughts about dystopian books. Do you like them? What's your favorite part of the dystopian stories? And how do they square with other science fiction or horror that you may read? Does that element of government fall and just survival on itself make it more interesting for you? This is Paul with Collector's Escape. Have a great day.